the faculty of imagination. If you refine it, then you become just. Justice or adalat. If every individual became just, then we'll have a just society. Islam says that it came to establish social justice. The two extremes are tyranny, oppression. Yes, you oppress others. And the other extreme will be bearing tyranny. You would prepare and always accept oppression. So you're encouraging the tyrant to continue its oppression. So the two extremes are both discouraged, and one should become just. They should not oppress others, and they should not take the injustice. How you break the cycle of injustice, for example, the example is given is that your boss tells you off because you can't tell off your boss because he's your boss. So you come home and tell your wife off because you feel that I'm the stronger person. The man feels he's stronger. Even the bad look, that evil look is an oppression because you only give it to the person weaker than you. You don't give it to someone who is huge, he'll beat you up. So you look and you give your dirty look or the evil look to the person who is weaker than you. You think your wife is weaker, so you take it out on her. Can't you cook properly? You have no problem. You just want to take out it from your system. My boss has told me off, so I have to take it out on someone else. So you take it out on someone weaker than you. Your wife doesn't stop. She would tell off on other children, "You're breaking your toys." So the older child beats up the younger one, and the younger one just breaks the toys. Because you see, one of them did not give up their cycle. One of them should have stopped. It should have been one of them saying, "I will not take it out on others." So control would mean justice, and taking it out on others would mean oppression. Oppression doesn't mean that you become Saddam Hussein. That's the extreme, the highest level of oppression. Oppression exists in everyone's life. We oppress each other. So the oppression may be different in life. I hope I did not waste your time. If I did, you would all forgive me for it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Maulana would take some questions. It would be better if we do the questions which are related to the topic first, and then he's happy to take any questions.
Can you raise your hand?
Okay. Just hold on. Well, thank you. Thanks so much. This is really interesting, and thank you so much for coming to visit us at the university here. I have 30 questions, but I'm going to ask only 3 briefly, and I need to come to talk to you. You kindly actually took us through a very interesting journey, which is really too much to capture in 1 hour. So I'm trying to take notes, but I'm sorry I couldn't take it all. What's the difference between spirit and soul from the Islamic perspective? Also, for the benefit actually of some people in the audience and in general, in the Quran, God referred to Jesus as the Spirit of God, and how that means practically. And the third one actually, which is you mentioned that life is not just about to live for one's own life and desire, but to live to the others. What the goal we try to achieve in living for the others? And thank you.
I'll try and remember all 3 questions. If I do forget, you'll remind me. The first part, about Jesus or?
No, the difference between the spirit and the soul.
Spirit and soul. Now my mind, I'm trying to combine everything. The question is very philosophical. I will not go too much into it, just briefly. Many argue that soul and spirit are the same thing. Many philosophers argue. There is no difference. Some argue no. There is a difference. One in Arabic is nafs and the other one is ruh. Nafs and ruh. Now the spirit is the ruh, and the spirit itself has the positive aspects. When the Quran says that kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, it is every soul that will taste death. They say there is a connection between body and spirit, and that is soul. That has death. The body has the spirit that leaves it, and therefore it is regarded as dead. But the ruh or the spirit lives. But I do not wish to go too much into it because it's a philosophical topic and it will confuse many of the people.
Okay.
I may not be able to explain it very well, you see, because it's a topic that is quite intellectual. Now, the second question is about Jesus. God has referred to him as Spirit of God. Adam and Jesus, peace be upon them both, have been referred to in the Holy Quran as that they did not come to this world in a normal way that we all come. We are born from a father and mother. But Jesus and Adam did not come to this world in a, there is no physical development for them in that way. They were created, God says, وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي, and I breathed into them my soul or my spirit. The word spirit, ruh, has been used here. I breathed into them my spirit, the ruh. Now, again, because they have not gone through that development of like other people, they both have a miraculous life. More so in the sense that about Jesus, because he said developed in the womb of a mother, but Adam did not even go through any of that. He was created and God breathed into him his spirit. What does it mean when the infallible was asked, what does it mean, Spirit of God? Did something come out of God and go into Adam or Jesus? He said, no, just like the house of God, God doesn't live in it. Spirit of God, meaning the ruh or the spirit, was related and connected to God, not that it came out of God.
But physically, what does it mean?
Physically, it is a spirit which is holier than all other spirits. So it is Ruh Qudus, the Holy Spirit. But the words about Jesus are different, and likewise like Adam. So it doesn't mean that a spirit came out of God, but it is not like normal people.
But is it not the power of God?
It is the power of God in one way. But how is it? I think once we come out of the material world and go into the spiritual world in the hereafter, we'll understand it then.
Okay.
Because it's a spiritual side.
So,
and the last part
and
was
the last
about,
one
yes,
actually there.
we should try and live for others. How can we achieve that?
No, actually, what will the goal to achieve in living for the others? Yes.
What is the goal to be achieved in living a life for others? What is the goal? Because God says you try and live for me, and He is not you. So the ultimate goal is God Himself, and not others, but others who serve God, even if they don't serve God because they are creation of God. When the first Imam al-Islam, and the United Nations has actually sent that letter of Ali ibn Abi Talib from Nahj al-Balagha to all the Muslim governments in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. They said that this letter should be the means of governance for all Muslim leaders today. He says, O Malik, to Malik al-Ashtari writes, he says, O Malik, when you are working as a leader of the community, or when you are governing the people, there should be two aspects. All of the people there, either they share humanity with you, or they share your religion with you. If they don't share your religion, then you cannot implement and enforce your religion onto them, but they still share humanity. So at least live the standards of humanity with them. So that should be the ultimate aim and goal.
I just wanted to ask if you could clarify which chapter in the Quran is it said about the Spirit of God being cast into Adam.
Surah Al-Imran, Surah number 3. Indeed, the example, I'll try and read the verses. Indeed, the example of Jesus is like that of Adam. Surah number 3 has 200 verses, but I think it is 50 onwards. If you read, it talks about the Christianity, it talks about, it talks about Jesus. There are other verses as well. I'm only referring to this chapter, but I actually just now recall that there are other chapters that also talk about it. In Surah number 2 as well, verses 30 to 37, it talks about Adam being created and the Spirit of God. And Surah Fussilat, Surah number 14. So there are many different actually chapters I'm now recalling, probably 6-7 different chapters. But at least these 2-3 chapters.